Hey guys, today we are going to be doing another episode in this year's Dimensional Merge or Delusional Merge month. Today we are going to be reading about Chris Chan and the name he has given to his followers. Because this all started with Sarah and Steve, and I can't show their tweet because their account is on private again, but they had called Chris's followers the Quickens. So Chris has something to say about that. Let's read his opinion on what his followers should be called. Wow, I have heard of those who follow me and jot down as much Christory of me as possible, with the term Christorian for themselves. But a neutral term from my follower in this sense, in the dimension 1218, even I feel compelled to break the fourth wall again to Ponderous. It's not the fourth wall. It's not the fourth wall. The only way it would be the fourth wall, Chris, is if you were fictional and you were talking to the real people on the other side. You are real, believe it or not. So you cannot break the fourth wall. That's not how the fourth wall works at all. And then Chris goes on to say, I mean, let's explore other details a bit, since we are going this far now. Just my input. Obviously, Jesus has a few differing follower sets, okay? But it's not good to start this off by comparing yourself to Jesus. That just shows what level of insanity we're on. But the top being Christians, obviously derived from his last name. What? You think Jesus' last name is Christ? Are you... You haven't read up on anything about your religion, your previous religion, because now you worship yourself. That is so fucking asinine. God. Buddha has Buddhist, but my deity typing is set on the level of console Patreon unit CPU, because it's from a shitty fucking Neptunia thing, of the Commodore consoles, and then some. I might even be a goddess to the Sonichu and Rosachu species, even though you're not Sonichu or Rosachu. You say you're half Sonichu because your dad is half Sonichu, which makes no fucking sense at all. And you only got your powers because of the Ancient Prophecy, but I think that's been retconned now to where you gave your powers to yourself. Somehow, I'll have to do a video explaining that later. Out of all the Pokemon in existence, and I have a whole slew of abilities that are, while partially obvious here in 1218, or more so in C197. But let's focus more on the CPU aspect. It is not clear what the natural term for a CPU follower is from within their respective nations, at least beyond as well. Between ÄNITÖ, Noir, Blanc, I'll say Blanc, and Vert, it is rather similar, as everyone seems to call themselves followers of ÄNITÖ, Noir, Blanc, Vert, respectively. I concur that the followers of Chris Chan Sonichu, or just Chris Chan, is a mouthful, not as simplistic as Vert tried to offer the term vertigos for his followers, but that did not take. Bottom line is that all of my followers and worshippers do have a choice to call your group as you will. I think he means will, but as you well? Okay, whatever, Chris. Just Quickens pronounce Quickens, and practicing Quickenism pronounces Quickenism. That does not feel or sound fitting to me and feels off. So he says he doesn't like Quicken. He doesn't like Quicken, and he doesn't like Quickenism. So I'm gonna start calling them Quickens from now on, just for the hell of it. Because I think Quicken is a very good name, and I think Chris is being way too mean to his followers. I think Chris needs to give them a break. These Quickens really love him. I do not mean to overstep my boundary. You always do. In this topic, I am just offering my input and feedback. Please don't. My guidance, should y'all accept it, is to look up and determine what a neutral term for a CPU follower in the hyperdimension Neptunia lore is. A step further on the term for the follower of a specific goddess / CPU, and go from there to determine a better idea for a better term. So Chris says, I know you guys want to call yourself Quickens, but I personally don't like the name, so we need to all gather up into a little hug box and come up with a better name. And the followers of my channel are called Gremlins. Learn the lore. That has been consistent for over a year. Better term for the followers of Chris Chan Sonichu. I can even see the bad pun in the acronym FOCCS. Fox. Simply, we can do a lot better than even that. Even Faux Quicks. That's a terrible name. That's worse than Quicken. Quicken at least sounds decent. Doesn't sound appealing. Take your time on this. I humbly am very grateful for y'all's kindness. So he said I get to choose. I'm going with Quicken because I think Quicken is fucking hilarious. I'm going to keep calling you guys Quickens. And we got this Christian emoji of him blowing a kiss, and this is his idealized version of himself. And the first comment says, don't label me because I like to watch a human dumpster fire. So that guy doesn't even want to be a part of this weird fucking thing that Christian is trying to gather up. And it's funny that these people, they follow Christian. They like Christian enough to follow him and worship him, quote unquote worship him, and he won't even let them choose their own name. Because he's like, that name's not good enough. You need to come up with a better one. This was a rather short video, but I just thought it was a funny scenario that Christian got himself into, to where he's shitting on his followers. Even though he basically has a cult, he still isn't happy and is still nitpicking everything. So if you guys like this video, hit the like button. If you really like it, share it. If you want to see more, then subscribe. I'll be looking for more Christian tweets involving the merge, and we'll do a couple more videos this month talking about this subject. Bye, guys. Before the credits roll, I thought I'd give a shout out to my multiple ways of making money. YouTube is starting to slowly sanitize the platform, making it hard for people to make money on edgier content like I do. So I'm reminding you guys that I have a Patreon. The Patreon has plenty of reward tiers, including seeing my podcast early and possibly getting on the show if I can fit that into the schedule. I have video recommendation tiers that you can try to get into, and if Patreon isn't your thing, I now sell shirts. This month's shirts are Edge Christmas, where it's Edge riding on a Motobug, and Sonichu Christmas, which has Sonichu and Magichan on it. And if all else fails and my YouTube falls apart, I always have a BitChute account. So remember to check out all these different things in the description below.